I made the big yellow base, which just was a blob, and she turned it into this creature with all of these lines on it and a head and tail. It's just spectacular. Oh my God.
I imagine it really changes once the wire form is involved. I mean, the process.
Oh yeah, it pops up.
Yes, yeah, that's great.
I was feeling sorry for Michelle because I assumed she ended up putting the wire in all of them and painting them with the shiny stuff. But she said she got an intern that liked to do monotonous stuff, and she put the intern to work who did a lot of the inserting the wires and shellac, and it's not shellac, but whatever that coating is they put on it. That was good. She had some help.
Yes.
Tremendous amount of work.
Oh, Kimberly, I remember you. You started making the giant gray banana.
I think we're going to see that today. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that has turned into a really incredible looking thing too.
I finished the gray banana.
Who finished the gray banana? So I know someone else did.
Yeah, I finished it. Kimberly dropped it off at my house, and I finished that.
Who's speaking? I can't tell who's speaking.
It says Brenda Dawson.
Brenda. Oh yes. Hi.
Patty. My girlfriend was over using my Zoom last weekend, and every time now I log on, I'm her. I haven't changed it. So.
Well, mine says Pete Florent, but I'm Sue Whitney.
Hi.
My computer doesn't like Zoom, so I have to borrow one.
Oh, and we have Michelle and Cecily. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Cecily's just in. Hi.
Hey, Michelle, you're on mute. Michelle, I'm not sure if you're speaking, but you're on mute. Do you want me to?
I got it.
Yay!
I found it. My first time using Zoom on the phone.
Well, welcome.
How are you? Should I
Good. We're
turn
all so
sideways?
excited to see you.
Better.
Hey, be careful. Watch out for those bikes speeding by. We don't want to see any accidents.
Yeah, I don't want to have any accidents. Yeah. We're off the bike path at the moment.
Good. Stay off it.
Near it. So is it more exciting that we're live?
Yes.
Well,
Live from the bike path.
It's like we have reporters on the scene.
Exactly.
Breaking news.
Well, and Kristen and I were reviewing some things this morning, and my cat was doing amazing gorilla bad behavior. So I'm not afraid of the bikes. We're much worse.
Oh.
That was excellent expectation management there. Helping you get ready for being in a diffuse environment.
So how many people are on the call so far? We can only see 4.
Yep, we've got 15 of us so far. 16.
Oh, wow.
16, yes. Yep. Yeah, and definitely more joining. So I think let's wait a minute or two, but we're. Let's see. Oh, here comes Amanda Troja.
So Sue Whitney actually joined us on one of our installation days.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. So you were a big help. I think you have a great eye for it. Like, how about this tree?
Yeah, I'm not good. I'm not good in desk jobs. I love being outside and moving around. Ugh. But you guys pick good spots for all of that. So I finally found that big white piece I made. I forget what the name of the creature is, and I can't believe how high that is up in the trees. And how did Johnny get that up there? I mean, all 3 of those at the beginning there, big ones on the right, are really high. Is that
He's
hard?
a professional.
Yeah, I know. I can tell by his shirt. Did that look hard when he put them up there?
We're going to show some video later in the call of him in the trees.
Oh, okay.
But let me just say that there was one piece in a sort of harp-shaped branch, and Michelle and I had to go scout something out while Johnny was hanging it, and we came back, and it was like significantly higher than we thought. And so I was like, do you think you could adjust it and bring it down maybe 5 feet? And he was like, no. It was the one time he said
Well,
no.
You know
And
what?
he said that whole tree required so much core strength because there was no place he could rest
Yeah.
a foot or just hang out.
I'll bet that was that white one because it's really high and it looks like it's in the middle of nowhere.
It was actually a different one. I think the
It
white
was?
one was, well, if he's on, he can explain what makes a tree or easy or hard.
He's
I know
not on
Hannah
yet,
was going
Cecily.
to be on.
The one that was in the Boston Globe site was wonderful. That was the big white one. That was a great photo.
Boston Globe site. I only saw 2 other photos in that. Is that in the actual newspaper or just the online Globe?
Oh,
It was in the newspaper.
Oh, okay. I'll have to get one of the newspapers. I just saw it. on the-
Cecily,
I
here's
saw
It was in
in the
yesterday.
online one. It was in the
Yesterday.
online link.
I had a little meeting with, I had a meeting with the young people in the green team about the sign they're working on for us. And one
Oh.
of the students said, great article in the Globe.
Wow.
He went and got the paper. It's like a 7th or 8th grader. So smart and mature, and like held the paper up. And then she said, you certainly had a lot of quotes in it. Not exactly like you did a great job. More like you talked a lot.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sure she was crediting your media savvy there, Cecily.
I realized, reflecting on this, that she might have appreciated it if more had come out about the danger of plastic in that article. I think some came out, but not as much as we want to hammer home.
Well, we're going to work on it all year.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
But
So
they're so great. They're like, we want signs everywhere on the bike path with facts about dangers of plastic. So
that's fabulous.
What are they making the signs out of? Are they like poster kind of things?
well, that was what we were talking about, and I am going to touch on this at the end, but just in case not everyone is here at the end, we're planning one large sign, which Molly Scannell, who's a local designer who had a beautiful chair in Chairful, has agreed to design for us. So one side will have green team content and the other side will have information about the project and Michelle. And then we may have some QR codes along the way. But what I was talking with the green team kids about is like a 10-word fact about plastic might end up, say, on the railing near one of the pieces. Like we might think of some other ways to integrate the plastic messages to reach. They made the point that the people who most need that information are least likely to stand there and read the sign.
Right. It has to be kind of big and simple.
I think Amazon Prime has just taken that effect on the packages they use for shipping items. And on it is a little comment that says recycle at the stores with plastic bags.
Right.
Good.
Wow, great.
I
That's
just got a
great
package
news.
yesterday and it's brand new and it's in little circles on the bags. So those packages aren't going to go in trash anymore. They're going to go into when you go to the market, they have a big container for collecting plastic bags.
Yeah, Whole
That's
Foods.
great news.
Whole Foods has had one of those for a long time, and I thought, oh, how irresponsible! All those people packages are throwing their trash in the plastic bag. I didn't realize they were recyclable.
Right, and now all of your Amazon Prime packages, those thick ones with the padding in them, you can put in there now.
That's what I meant. People were throwing those in there, and I thought I didn't realize those were recyclable.
Yep, and they now have printed it right on there, so I think that we can do the same.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, you know, one of our participants, Catherine, who collected a lot of subscription bags from the Globe, she really wants to send the article from the Globe and a whole pile of those plastic bags to the delivery service to say, stop with the plastic bags. We don't need them.
You
Right.
mean
So
for
there'll be
the
lots of activism growing out of this, I think.
Which is
A
good.
note, a technical note to Kristen.
Yeah.
So we're going to be using Michelle's phone, not mine.
Understood.
So no need to spotlight. Okay.
Okay, great. Great. And we've got about 22 people, and
Oh, we should start.
the joining has leveled off. So I'll keep an eye on the waiting room, but I think, and just for you to know, Amanda's here and Hannah's here as
Great.
well.
Oh, great.
Great.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hi, Amanda.
Hi, hey, I'd love to just say that the library really enjoyed, I'm the Fox branch librarian and was able to work a lot with Michelle and Cecily. I'm working with Cecily all the time, but I just wanted to say we just really loved hosting you guys. One of the reasons I came to Arlington was I just loved the Fox Library. I mean, that's where I'm working, but it's just like the community aspect of it. Obviously, we're not there right now, but you know, I have very fond memories of days where all of you were there collecting bags, and we had our D&D club, and we had the people knitting. I mean, just these like really awesome everybody coming together.
Yeah,
So
it's fun.
how Michelle and Cecily, how you were able to pivot this project and to still come out so beautifully. And it's like, you know, I was always so excited to see it on the bike path, and I know other people are too. So it's been really great. And I'm sorry, but I will have to cut out a little bit early. I have a 2-year-old birthday party in a park. I have to get my kid dressed as the count here soon. But
Awesome.
That is awesome.
I am making my husband's being Oscar, so this is like his little hat, trash can hat.
Oscar the Grouch.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for being here as long as you can, and for everything that the libraries did to support this project. That was such a wonderful partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. What a wonderful community center. We really enjoyed being there as well.
Great.
I
Maybe-
think that if we hadn't had the library as our site of origin, we would never have been able to keep going through the pandemic. It gave us such a solid start.
Definitely.
We look forward to some time in the future continuing to host, you know, in-person stuff at some point in time. Not right now, but it'll be a nice day to be able to do this again.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to chime in with a couple of quick Zoom ground rules. So this will be a combination of conversation and kind of exhibition walk. So as Michelle and Cecily are moving from place to place, we're looking forward to hearing stories and questions. I think if you have something you want to share, please put it in the chat, and I will call on you and invite you to share. And we're also going to go around and do 1 to 2 minute introductions. And just if you have a story you want to share, a favorite memory, or your favorite thing about the project as you introduce yourself, that would be great. Michelle and Cecily, shall I hand it off to you?
Well, maybe we should go ahead and show the little slideshow about how we kind of managed from the pandemic through construction. It's very short, just some highlights, and I wish we had photos of all of our volunteers, but then we'd be here all day. And we're going to hear from you anyway. So
Understood. Great. I'm going to share screen. Yep.
Awesome.
right.
You can see just her palette, all the wonderful shapes that you all made at home during the coronavirus. Here's Peggy Tryon during one of the pickup runs that we made. She worked on blue bowls. Like other people. And here you can see the blue bowls turned into sculpture. This is the funnel shape, and the funnel shape combined with these green cups that Catherine made ended up in these wonderful little sculptures. Another element that we had was a tube, and tubes ended up on our coronavirus. Here's Evelyn Persoff She also worked on bowls, as did Andrea Winslow.
Trees.
And bowls are the foundation shape for this wonderful tardigrade feature. So basically, Michelle set up a studio for COVID, a COVID-safe studio space in her front yard. And Marina Strauss and Lori Bogdan and her wonderful intern, Alex Rose, all worked out there to build the sculptures. Then we hit the bikeway, measuring trees, bringing the completed sculptures out on site to try to figure out what should go where. Here I'm holding up one of the pieces to see how it looks in a tree. And then our wonderful arborist team, Johnny and Hannah, were the ones who actually got the sculptures up in the trees. I don't think we could have done this ourselves. So that's a little introductory tour of the process during the pandemic.
Yeah, so I guess, I don't know if anyone has any questions from that. Oh, yours doesn't have the
Just a quick
turnaround
question from,
control.
this is Jan. Where on the bikeway is it set up? Is it the entire length or whereabouts?
It's between the Kickstand Cafe and Linwood Street,
Oh, okay, perfect.
near, like behind Spy Pond.
Yep.
Oh, here it is. I'm just trying to get the camera.
There you go. That's it.
So we can see Michelle. We're here at the entrance to the bikeway by the kickstand. There's the kickstand with some music. And she's here at the first sculpture. So Michelle, do you want to talk a little about your process?
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who contributed. It feels like a big step to be on the other side of this project, and kind of after the first wave of the pandemic, and being able to continue on and make this happen is really been a wonderful thing, and very very helpful to get through the pandemic, to have this to focus on. So I hope that all of you can feel proud and happy when you come out and look at this work in the tree. And I also hope that the message about microplastics in water will bubble forth as well. So just generally, for the work that I've been doing, the forms that I asked for and created from the components that you made are based on microplastics in water. So I worked on some forms, ciliates, desmids, heliozoans, and so all of those forms kind of more or less inspired this work. And so it may seem that they're somewhat abstract. They're sort of intuitively made, not exact replicas of all of these microorganisms, but things that were able to be put together from the components that were made and then put on the bike path.
Do you want to say something about the wire and the varnish? How did it go from these soft sculptures to these rigid forms?
Sure, that's part of what was shown in the images from my yard, but we spent a lot of time this summer after all the close to 600 or around 600 components were collected. We had to individually put each wire in each one, and then put them together to make the components. And then, because plastic doesn't biodegrade, but it photodegrades in sun, each component, each sculpture, once finished, was coated with a UV resin to help protect it from the elements. And then our arborists installed them using something called arbor lock and monofilament.
So maybe maybe we should pause here for another a round of introductions, and then we'll talk more about about this gray piece that's right here.
Sure.
So, and who was it again who worked on the gray piece? I know it was Kimberly who started it.
Kimberly Harding and Patty Hebert.
Yeah, I'm here as
Great. Thank you, Kimberly.
So maybe you could start with introductions, the two of you, and then Kristen will tag people to talk next.
Kimberly, go ahead.
Sure. I'm Kimberly Harding, and I did work on, I made some bowls, and I started the gray piece, then I had to stop because the crocheting the plarn just aggravated me and gave me carpal tunnel. So I had to stop.
Oh no.
I'm better
Are you
now.
feeling better?
I'm better now. I'm crocheting right now as we speak in much smaller dimensions. But yeah, so that was my part, and I was there last week to see it. It's wonderful.
Great.
Thanks.
I want to say that Kimberly also helped a lot with the Audison school visit.
Yes, the workshops.
And when we show, with the green team and with the after school art club.
You came to the senior center too, didn't you?
Yes, I did. It was super fun. Really fun. Love doing that.
And she's proudly wearing her Arlington Knitting Brigade shirt. Great.
And this is Patty.
yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name's Patty Hebert. I live in Framingham, and I take a pottery class with Michelle. So when she mentioned this project, I can single crochet, so I opted in and I made cones, I guess, and bowls, and I finished the gray banana. So I was just to see it. And I miss crocheting. I miss, having a project that I could just carry around with me and work on. So
Patty, I can set you up to give you some more things to do for me.
Okay. That would be good. I'll see you Wednesday.
That's probably true for anybody here. If you want to continue to work with Michelle, I bet she can come up with some assignments.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Patty, you also made a large white thing.
I made a large white hat, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a good way, all of this, to be in touch with people that we care about during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right, Cecily, should we do a couple more introductions?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. I'm Kristen Canterbury Bagnall. I'm the co-chair of the Arlington Commission for Arts and Culture, which hosted Michelle's residency, led very much, of course, by Cecily Miller, whom you all know. And for this project, I don't know how to crochet, so I collected bags and made plarn. And we made my daughter and I made a lot of orange plarn in the early days of the
Oh, thank you, Kristen.
Oh, absolutely. That was
a very, very useful activity.
It felt really good, actually. I went to one of the workshops, and going in, I was very sheepish about my not crocheting, but it was vivid how useful sorting and making plarn was. And my favorite memory of the project was watching Michelle have a conversation with a couple of volunteers in the basement of the Fox Library about the fact that the Wall Street Journal bags come in slightly different variations of gray-green. And was it useful to her to have them all mixed together, or did she want them separated by variation? And I don't know if this was your experience, Michelle, but it felt vivid to me to watch you see other people be so committed to fulfilling your vision of the work. It was clear to the volunteers that there was a right answer to this question by your eye, and they really wanted to do it however you wanted it done. So
Yeah, I really appreciated all of that commitment. And I was at first skeptical because, you know, Cecily came to me and said, oh, we can get all these people to help you, volunteer, people will donate. And I never had a project this large. So it was really eye-opening and amazing and expanding for me.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. That's so good, and such a credit to everyone here.
Yeah,
People
I
were
just
very
had that
committed
same.
to those bags. We were like closed, like the library because of the pandemic. We're like, you know, still physically closed. People were like, can we still drop off plastic bags? Like,
it's true, Michelle. We may be a
Well-
collection site for years to come.
Yeah.
And this was why I wanted to bring the project to Arlington and bring Michelle. I know what an incredible community this is for rolling up your sleeves and getting involved, and whether it's being creative or being an environmentalist or being just a workhorse supporter who knows that we need our supplies. It's
Community
awesome.
engager.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's great. Great. Let's see. Stuart, do you want to introduce yourself? You want to unmute and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Stuart Ikeda. I'm a co-chair with Kristen of the Commission for Arts and Culture. I've worked with Cecily on a number of projects and enjoyed all the just, you know, amazing, enriching installations that she's brought to our town, but nothing matches the scope and complexity and persistence of a project like this. So to all of you volunteers and Michelle and Cecily, just a stunning job. You make us proud.
Oh, thank you. We got a little more than we bargained for with the pandemic.
Yep, that's a value of persistence. Thank you, Stuart. And we've mentioned her name a couple times. So Hannah, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself.
All right. Hello. So I'm Hannah, and this is Johnny.
Oh,
Jonathan.
yay.
Yes, we're both in on the call. So yeah, I got a very strange phone call one day that somebody wanted to hang up plastic, single-use plastic sculptures along the Minuteman bike path. And I said, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go see this. And I pulled up to the Kickstand Cafe, and I could just see Cecily walking around with one in her hand. And I immediately knew that I was really excited to be a part of this. She said that I could take it home if I wanted to see, you know, how we could work with it. So I was really excited right from the get-go. And then luckily we had the incredibly talented Jonathan here, who was really able to make everything happen. Physically, we couldn't have done this without him. He was able to shimmy up all of the trees, get into some pretty compromising positions there just to get it right, and really pull it off. And I think it went swimmingly. It was a really, really fun thing to be a part of. I was actually part of a recycling drive when I was in high school that I set up. So it was really fun to kind of see this come full circle. I can't wait to, you know, reach out to my old Teens Go Green group and, you know, say that, you know, these things are still going strong. And it was just really a fun part.
Yay. Well, wonderful to have
Great.
you both here.
Well,
Go ahead, Cecily.
that's probably a really good segue to the video segment about this orange sculpture. I mean, gray sculpture, sorry.
Gray and orange.
Gray and orange. And then we're gonna do some more introductions. And then we have some more video of kind of more remarkable climbs that Johnny did. This particular tree had a little kind of built-in footstool. You'll see though. So Kristen, if you want to try to show that, it
Yes.
starts in the Addison School where the Plarn was born.
Okay, here we go.
And we chose to put this one right at the entrance because it's such a great landmark, so visible from the kickstand and the street. I loved that the boys in the art club got as into this as the girls. So that's Alex.
The other way.
And here's Hannah hoisting. This is where we had the discussion about pointy side up. And Johnny took so much care with each of these pieces, getting it just how we wanted it.
Rigel! Thank you. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Okay, but I need
This is like the perfect fall color little blimp thing.
And you can see he's roped in so as to be safe the whole time. But it was like an aerial ballet. It's amazing. Okay, so this we'll save for later.
Rigel.
So now we'd like to go back to hearing from you. And I just would ask, if you're not talking, could you mute your, your Zoom call? 'Cause
Does anyone have questions for Johnny and Hannah,
oh,
the
good.
climbers? Oops. You're a cameraman.
Well, I want to say one thing about their company, Save a Tree. Their philosophy is, well, it's summed up in their name. And both of them commented on how happy they were to be working on a project that did not involve removing trees, cutting them down, aggressively pruning them, but more was about finding the beauty in the trees and complementing that with the sculpture and how it would be positioned. And they were both very sensitive to that and interested in it. And early on, Hannah had told me that Johnny was an artist in how he approaches pruning and thinking about the trees.
And that's very vivid when people have a chance to see the piece live, the experience of it from one direction and the next. I mean, there is as much artistry in the sighting, I think, as there is in the creation, and it's amazing how it transforms the experience of the bike path. Really. I was just out there this morning, and at different times of day it looks different. I mean, I think it will be an extraordinary addition to the next year of Arlington's cultural life.
Hey.
Yeah. It was really cool when we started to put the pieces up. All of the leaves were green. You know, we worked various times of day, like you said, and now with the leaves changing color behind it, and we're even really excited to see what happens in the winter with it. So it's something we're excited to keep being a part of. I'm excited to come, you know, do my checkups on the pieces and just have a nice little walk down the bike path there.
That's wonderful. Well, Cecily, should we do some more introductions?
Yeah, we're going to stop our video while people talk, but we really want to hear from some of the makers.
Absolutely.
I'll be happy to go.
Okay, go ahead, Sue.
All right, so since I'm not very good at extemporaneous speech, I've decided that I would write a little poem in honor of this project and of all Michelle's work. Here we go. It's called The Persistence of Plarn. We cut plastic loops, linked them together, and then cut up some more. We crocheted and crocheted. We started by sorting bags, making chains and simple squares. We met in halls and libraries, and veteran crocheters learned to share. Working with Michelle and Cecily was always quite a breeze. They could constantly encourage us and made us feel at ease. Though the COVID pandemic put a crimp in our working style, we could produce at home, either a lot or just once in a while. In the end, Michelle spent many hours assembling bright, fantastic creatures. and used her artistic talents to create unique microorganism features. The completed works were strung up high in the bike path greenery with care and great skill by Jonathan and Hannah of the company Save-A-Tree. It is hoped that the public will enjoy the unique hanging sculpture, but will also be stimulated to think about our persistent plastic culture. And thank you, Michelle and Cecily. It was a pleasure working with both of you, and I had a blast crocheting my brains out.
You definitely crocheted your brains out. And we are so thankful for your contribution, Sue. You were the
You're welcome.
Super performer.
It was fun.
Wonderful, Sue.
And thank you
so
for
much.
writing that. That's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
You're
We
welcome.
would, Sue, if you don't mind sharing, I would love to get that, particularly for inclusion in the archives that
Oh,
the
sure.
libraries are organizing. That would be a really neat piece
I'll
to
send
have.
it to somebody. I'll send it to Cecily. I have her.
Perfect. Send it to Cecily. And let's see, I think Leah may have to leave early. So I was going to ask, is Leah Parada here? And would you like to introduce yourself? Yay! I was hoping that might be you. Okay, Leah, go ahead and good. Unmute. There you go.
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Leah Parada. I am in New Orleans, and I actually, let's see. So I've been yarning for a while. I discovered it, the medium online, and I learned how to crochet. And at the start of the pandemic, I thought this would be a really great way to take up a lot of time and kind of ease my mind a little bit. And then I got curious to see if other people were using the medium on a bigger scale, if artists were, making sculptures, and just to see what other people were doing. And I just did a Google, and the project showed up, and Michelle and Cecily popped up, and Arlington popped up, and I saw what y'all were doing, and that it was a huge collaboration, and I was really, really into the material at the time. And also, I am a cyclist, and I also work in tree maintenance. So I was like, I had to contact them. So I believe I just pulled emails, and I was like, hey, I'm really not doing anything else right now. So, well, I was also working in a restaurant, so I was out of work. It's kind of losing my mind. So Michelle and Cecily included me and made some requests, and sometimes I would, have some weird colors available because I happen to have a huge mountain of bags. And I said, hey, I have these hot pink bags from I don't even know what. So I made some of those hot pink funnels, and I got to just make like white spots and blue hats and whatever I had around. And I'm really, really happy that I got to be included in this project. And I really love to see so many people using plastic bags. And I just think the further this medium spreads, the better. And I tell everybody about it. And thank you for including me from so far away.
Oh, Leah, we're so happy for your contribution. And those hot pink bags are really, really visible on the bike path and kind of make really special accents on everything. And can I just say, Leah, you were like the silver lining in the pandemic, like realizing our very local project when none of us could leave our homes. But the upside was we could connect with people far away who were also stuck at home and kind of bring this cosmopolitan quality to our very local project. And of course, in New England, we don't have hot pink plastic bags.
New Orleans. Thank you so much.
Hey.
Thank you, Leah. Take care.
Should we do one more introduction, Cecily?
Yeah.
Sure. Lori Berenberg, do you want to introduce yourself and tell a story?
Sure. Hi. Congratulations, everyone. This is an amazing project, and I'm really proud that I got to be able to be in it from the very early stages of its inception and working with Cecily and Michelle to actually figure out how this was all going to work. And the culmination of this story I'll tell is just kind of sums up how amazing this project has been. Yesterday, I was able to walk the bike path. I have a stress fracture, so I have a boot on my foot, and I was finally able to get out. And I went with a friend and his 3-year-old daughter. And we got to see it through the incredibly innocent eyes of this young child who was so joyful in every piece of discovery. We just went on just a search for unusual things in the trees. And she was able to spot things that and I was there for like figuring out where things were gonna go. And I had even forgotten. And way before I even saw any of them, she would find them, she would look at them really, really carefully, try to get as close as she could. She would start describing them. She would say, this one looks like a web, or this looks like a creature. And she didn't tire of it the entire time. We were there for about close to an hour just looking, and it was amazing. And just anecdotally, I want to say that as we were there, I kept hearing people passing by me saying, this is so beautiful. Oh my God, what is this? This is so amazing. So with that, congratulations. It's been an amazing project and an amazing thing for Arlington. And I want to thank everybody who worked on it.
Hey, thanks, Lori.
Yeah, what a great story. Thank you, Lori. It has been, the days that we were here installing, we heard a lot of feedback from people. People ride by on their bikes, thanks for the art, and say, I like, what you're doing. And then some people stop and say, what is it? What's going on here? So it was really pretty amazing to engage with the community again, and socially distanced, of course, but just to hear all that feedback was really nice.
Is there one more maker who wants to talk?
Sure, maybe.
I'm Jan.
Great, Jan. Go ahead.
I'm Jan, and I joined in initially at the senior center, and I was just fascinated by the concept of plarn, which is a new word that's now in my vocabulary. But I shared it with friends who were weavers and crocheters and knitters, and they still had no clue what was happening. So I think the press that's coming out of it, I was one of the ones who was, I laughed at the comment earlier about people looking at different shadings of bags. I was looking at the different shadings of bags of the newspaper ones as I was sitting there hand crocheting the plarn so that people could then take it and make it into the structures of the baskets and whatever. And I think that the idea of affiliating with the libraries was a wonderful one. And now that there's an outdoor exhibition of this, I'm going to go out on the bikeway because the Spy Pond Park near Linwood is a favorite stopping point of mine, and just go and see it live. So congratulations at pulling it together. And I was thrilled to hear from the person from New Orleans. So you've got national, exposure as well that other towns could take likely of. So thank you for your organization, and it was a great experience. I wish I'd had more time during the heat of the summer, but obviously you put things together. And the tree climbers, my hat's off to them.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
And that's another great cue, I think, to watch another of the videos. Which has some of Johnny climbing, doing his aerial ballet.
Okay, here we go.
We call this one the mermaid. So people would stop and chat with us while we were there. So here's Michelle talking to, and in the meantime, here's Johnny working away. While we have our coffee and croissants. And Hannah was handing him up the items and making sure they were wired up properly. I don't know if you can hear, there's a rehearsal going on right now on the fields.
Yes.
There's the hot pink on that tardigrade.
That's wonderful.
And that shape, the tardigrade shape, that's one of the little microorganisms that you would find in water typically that is most creature-like.
Hmm.
And I think Michelle chose to do water organisms for a couple of reasons. One, because of the problem of plastic pollution in the water, fresh water, ocean water, rivers, but also because the plastic breaks down and enters the food chain, it resembles the microorganisms. So we end up eating, human beings, 1/2 pound of plastic every year through that food chain. That was a Green Team research fact. Okay. So now we can go back to more sharing.
This is Jan. I just had one more quick comment. I'm glad to hear that Arlington has the poet laureate of Plarn. I think you should head her poem by the poet laureate of Plarn.
Excellent. Yeah, we should put that poem on the sign. Definitely on the website.
Right. Please do.
I'll mail it in.
Great.
So are there any other makers who will step up and share either a memory or something you're happy about the way the whole project turned out?
Yeah, Andrea, do you want to share? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I would. I just wanted to say how much I absolutely love this project from the very beginning. A part of Mothers Out Front, so someone in that group told me about it. And I remember coming to the Fox Library and just seeing this, incredible amount of energy, all these women together. And I felt like, wow, this is like, the old quilting bee of old, we're sitting around, we're doing whatever. And then when the pandemic came, I was just crestfallen. I thought, is this the end of this project? And I was really happy to know it was continuing. And so then, I don't know about you, but I've never watched so much TV in my life since the pandemic started. And I would then have the Plarn to keep me company. And I was happy to just make my bowls and my squares and felt like the world was falling apart environmentally, in terms of health. And here I had the opportunity to work on something that was communal, that was saying something for the environment, that was keeping me busy, keeping me sane. And I just, really love the project, love being part of it. So I want to thank you all.
That's beautiful, Andrea.
Thank you so much. How beautifully put. Yeah, really. In a way, it's a kind of a healing. It's like reassembling, mending, healing, reusing, taking this toxic substance and turning it into something beautiful that the public can enjoy. It's a pretty powerful way to counter the challenges that we're dealing with.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's a good segue to Charlotte Milan, Arlington's recycling coordinator. Charlotte, say a few words. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Milan with Public Works. Well, we still have bags of Public Works we never gave you for this project. So when I go into work and feel guilty about that every day, I was a reminder that things were still going on, and I felt very much like one of the people who just got separated from it somehow. But I knew it was going on because I was reading the updates. So I really appreciate all the communications that you had about this. And even though I felt personally and like Public Works couldn't be as supportive as we might have liked to have been, since we've been close to the public for as long as Town Hall has been in the library, it's been on my radar. I think it's very exciting to hear about green teams doing research. I think there's some invasive plant activities going on the bike path with green team students. this season, this fall, and I hope that they'll more and more of the students on our green teams will have a chance to see these sculptures and see this incredible installation. I have not seen it myself yet, so these videos are and the pictures that I've been seeing are the first. I'm really excited to go down there myself. And I think that some of you may know that the Mystic River Watershed Association received is part of a big water. Someone's going to help me with this, but a big water pollution initiative is just starting out now. I think the timing for this is tremendous. I think the awareness of Arlingtonians of plastic in their lives, plastic pollution, the value of our water bodies in our town, is so much of our open space is water. I think this just ties together Arlington to the oceans and to the world and to our ecosystem. So it's very exciting. I think that for a lot of Arlingtonians, it's now forward where all the value is going to come in. I'm glad I got to be there at some of the early things that I've known this is happening, but really getting the word out now and seeing people's reactions and reading about it and hearing about it, I'm really excited for that part of it. So thank you for making this happen through most challenging circumstances. It's a gift. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. And wow, that's really a nice way to look at it, that the word would be going out and having the most effect going forward. That's fantastic. And you reminded me, what I wanted to say is that the other reason for this water imagery is that Spy Pond is right here. So it's site specific in that way, because these organisms are in freshwater and saltwater. And not only Fresh Pond, but Alewife Brook and the Mystic River and the wetlands, this whole environment. We're in a watershed in Arlington. Also, Charlotte, you came up with our great name for our residency, Plarn Art to Save the Planet. Like, we're kicking around, what should we call it? And you got right to the point. So thank you for that.
Great, and I see that Brucey Moulton is here from Sustainable Arlington as well. Brucey, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you very much. Sustainable Arlington was, I think, a co-sponsor, is the proper term, for this group. And we were very happy to be part of this as now we've been for 21 years, part of the Arlington volunteers scene, first through Vision 2020 and now through Envision Arlington. We find this an incredibly exciting example of what residents can do when they come together to work on a project. And your enthusiasm for this, your pleasure in collaborating, and the results that you have created speak so strongly to all the different ways that as residents in Arlington, we can participate in a project and make a difference. And if we had somebody from New Orleans, that's incredible. Now I think, partly it's Zoom that makes this possible, partly it's just the general state of communications, but it means that we can reach beyond our borders and bring in people as well to be part of the conversation. So I'm so excited. Like Charlotte, I have not yet been down on the bike path to see this in person, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. And we've talked with Sustainable Arlington, has heard from Cecily in the past about various public art projects. The combination of environmental work and climate change work and art is just very powerful. And we look forward to collaborating with Cecily and maybe with Michelle again in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Brucey. That feels like a cue, Michelle and Cecily, unless you want to say something, I might ask for another maker to follow Brucey's generous comments. Great.
Sounds good. I would just say one of my favorite pictures is Brucey with a big ball of Plarn that she made, holding it up quite triumphantly. And it was powerful for us as an arts group to
have these allegiances with Sustainable Arlington, with Charlotte, with the green teams, to reach out of the art silo, which is what artists always want to do anyway, as well as the Council on Aging. And we had a big project planned with the Scouts that got canceled because of the pandemic, and a cafe, the Roasted Granola. We were going to have workshops there. So really getting out into the community through these partnerships. Great, thanks.
Great. Great, that's a huge priority of ACAC's, and very grateful to Cecily and Michelle for developing such a deep and beautiful way to do that. Let's see, any of the other makers want to tell a story? Let's see, I don't want to call on people who have video off. If it's Alex, would you like to? I was hoping that we would have a chance to hear from you.
Hi, my name is Alex Rose. I was fortunate enough to become Michelle's intern starting in August. So I wasn't here for the beginning of the project, but I really enjoyed being able to kind of jump in feet first and really become immersed in such a wonderful community. This project is really special. It touches upon something that affects everybody. And I think the end result is just magnificent.
Thank you, Alex. You've been a huge part. I think, because of the pandemic, we didn't have as many we didn't have any really assembly sessions. And so you and I and a couple of other volunteers were the assembly core. So thank you so much for as I said, dropping from the universe for me for the project. You've been wonderful to work with.
May I say something to Alex? Alex, I'm Sue. I was down on the bike path with Michelle, and I was telling her how bad I felt for her that she ended up with all that assembly and putting all that wire in and painting the stuff on. And she said, "Oh, but I didn't." I had this wonderful person help me. She was so happy. And I was very happy to hear that she didn't have to do all the work. So thank you very much. You made them come to life.
No, thank you for involving me. I'm the tedious worker. I like the tedious tasks.
Thank God.
Yes, right. So I think Lori Bogdan, if she's there, should also say hello.
Lori, please.
Hi, I'm Lori Bogdan, and I got into this project at the very beginning, at February 1st. A group that I work with, Art Links. We are an Arlington network of in the arts, any kind of artist. And Cecily reached out to us to see if we'd partner with them on one of the training sessions. So, and she was away at the time in Australia. So we got together, we got an article in the Arlington Advocate about our group and their group and how we're working together on this. And I went out and I bought my crochet needles with my friend Karen, who's on the call too. And we were all enthusiastic and we helped run the meeting. And I got about 20 stitches in and said, okay, this part I won't be doing. But I was fortunate enough to get back with Michelle through Cecily to be one of the assemblers at the end, and spent quite a few summer afternoons putting wire forms inside, and I loved that part of the project. I loved working with Michelle, and fortunately for me, I live within walking distance of that part of the bike path. So I plan to visit many times and enjoy all of your crochet work, which I very much appreciate because I know how hard it is to do. So thank you, Michelle and Cecily, and all of you makers.
And I just want to say, Lori and I had many conversations from Australia because there were a few snafus with that workshop, but it was in very good hands with her. Thank you so much, Lori, for keeping that in order and making it happen. It was a great workshop and people really enjoyed it. Another example of partnership.
And thank you, Lori, for coming in assembly. And Lori took some home too, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's very vivid.
Is Marina on the call?
Marina just
also
joined.
Sorry, I was like, I got trapped into something. I'm glad that I could come at least to the end. I loved participating. I'm a crocheter and a knitter myself, so everything that has to do with knitting, I think, brings more than strands together. I wanted to be part of a bigger thing, and Michelle did great in inviting us all in. What I particularly liked, apart from the community aspect, was the idea that we can help the environment. Sometimes I feel very powerless, and as I'm in touch with younger kids, I know that there's a lot of anxiety about the environment, and now with COVID, like the disconnection with the environment that I see in a lot of people. I'm spending as much time as I can walking, because that helps my nervous system. And I saw the beautiful, it was sort of a surprise when I saw, oh, they're here, and they're like spread out in the bike path. So I really liked seeing that, and I did feel like I was part of that. So even to people that were biking or walking by, I said, did you check that? Because people sometimes walk and they don't see it. So I felt like pointing it out to people so that they get to experience that sense of awe that I have when I see this kind of thing outside. So thank you for inviting me and everybody who wanted to participate in this. I also had, at some point I had an art class, and I involved the kids in my art class to at least do the cutting piece, and they were making races to put the little pieces of plastic bags together. They really enjoyed that. So thank you. I think this was a great project to be part of.
Oh, thank you, Marina. That was so great to see the pictures of the kids you were working with making Plarn. And, you know, the same thing happened in the middle school. The boys started racing, like who can make the biggest ball of Plarn first, fastest. But you bring a spirituality. I loved what you had to say about our estrangement from nature. And, you know, hanging these works in the trees, calling attention to the foliage, the beautiful shapes in the trees. We'll be able to watch it through the seasons as they change. It's very much a partnership with nature, even though it's a bit of an invasion as well.
Thank you, Marina.
Are any of the original knitting brigaders here?
Well, Adria's here.
Adria, the originator of the knitting brigade.
The original originator.
Adria, do you want to unmute and say hi?
Sure. Hi, everybody. So, yeah, I guess it was 4 years ago, Cecily, did we do Ripple?
I think it was 3.
3 years. 3 years ago, Cecily and I were talking about a collaboration on the bike path somehow. And, you know, we came up with this idea. I really think it was Cecily who instigated it, but to do a project with knitting and crocheting of trees. And she asked me if I would be willing to sort of lead that. And I said, sure. So, you know, hence I had no idea what I was getting into, but we managed 57 Arlingtonians were involved in creating 14 tree sleeves. So a lot of you might have seen those on the bike path, and pretty much the same spot that the Persistence is, if you remember seeing it. But what a great project that was. And you know, to be an artist who's used to being alone in the studio, to be able to work with the volunteers, to get your work out and create a community with public art. I just think it's there's no other experience quite like it. And of course, working with Cecily and her wonderful, ability to bring out everybody and involve everybody in the best way, in the most generous and warm way. It's so very special. We're so lucky to have her working with us as public art curator here. So, but I just love Michelle's work. And, it's the kind of thing where if you don't know how it was made, the first time I saw it, I was like completely amazed at it, and was wondering too how she found such great colors. I figured she definitely painted it all, but no, it's bags. So it's an interesting thing. They're beautiful objects created from something that's so banal and so pervasive and kind of, and sort of a bad thing for the environment. So it's very special to see it. And thank you so much for all your work on it, both of you so much.
Thank you, Adria. Wow, that was really, really nice to hear, I think, for both of us.
Yeah, thank you so much. This project definitely builds on the success of Ripple and relationships that you've been building here in Arlington for years. So thank you.
Well, I think that Ripple showed us that people were really excited about being involved in this. And so, community engagement, such a special piece of the art, or the public art project. And, to be able to show people how sort of, how it's all made from the get-go, it's a wonderful opportunity to be involved in, and then to see it finished. What a great experience for everybody.
And I think it's a really interesting balancing act for the artist who's leading the project.
Yeah.
Where to maintain control, where to let go, and really open the door to participants to bring their own expression. Mm-hmm. And it ends up being this lovely mix.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Cecily, one other thing, I forgot, we had our own wonderful experience with Save a Tree. In terms of
right,
and two different gentlemen were involved in art hanging, and it was just like the best part, almost the best part of it for me was watching them up there in the trees, dancing around in the branches, putting up art pieces too.
Sewing.
Yeah. So my gosh, what a great experience to be part of that as well.
I wonder if Kim Salazar is here. I know she was going to come to the call, but we are late in it. Kim, if you're still here, you early in the process brought us like 20 or something of the funnels.
60.
60. Oh my
Over
God.
Over 60, I think. And I think she was part of Ripple also, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was like a real shot in the arm. I think
started to make things more concrete, to have a pile of components that almost seemed like enough, to do something, just that.
Yeah, I don't think Kim's been with us today unless she's joined under another name.
Okay. Is there any other story sharing people want to do or questions? If you put your little hand up, little hand meaning the little graphic
little hand
representation of a hand, then Kristen will see you rise to the list.
Yep.
Maybe, should we look at, well, one other thing I want to mention is,
Stephanie.
See someone?
Yeah, Stephanie Marlin Curiel. Do you want to unmute yourself and say hello?
Okay, hi everyone. Yes, I'm going to have to beg off soon. My computer is not, doesn't seem to show chat function or this raise hand thing or anything else like that. It's a Chromebook. So I apologize for the actual raise, but I just want to say, just as a member of the Commission for Arts and Culture, how proud I am of this, our first artist residency, and what an amazing project and what amazing first residency this has been, from the engagement to so many people in town and out of town, from the beautiful project, from the amazing conception, from its closeness to Arlington and Arlington's values, from, you know, from the site specificness, everything that has been mentioned already. But I'm just incredibly proud and feel so privileged to have been, to have worked on this project for somewhat peripherally, mostly in the beginning, but it's been a great pleasure meeting you, Michelle, and of course, always working with you, Cecily. And everyone else, thank you everyone for your participation in this incredible work.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. You know, a little note, this project is part of an overall project called Pathways. And Stephanie came up with that name, Pathways. When we were thinking about citing art along the bikeway, one of the questions was, can we give this initiative a name? And it's so appropriate and a very good name, yeah. So she's not just behind the scenes.
Good. Well, let's see, I'll just ask one more time if there's anyone else who wants to share a story or.
How long will the picture be up?
We're hoping through next October, Cecily, is that right?
Yeah, for a year so that we can see it through the seasons.
Good to know.
Oh, and then actually we have an idea, which I wanted to kind of test out here, which we were thinking we would put it up for sale or maybe using an auction software, but not at high prices, to raise money for the next public art project. It won't be gallery quality because it will have been out in the weather, not like Michelle's usual work that's sheltered and preserved, but I think it'll still be beautiful and a kind of great memento. So I don't know, does anyone want to say whether you think that's a good idea or whether you think we should recycle it in some other way? And I should say we were going to split that proceeds with Michelle to help continue supporting her practice. Of course, now that I've said that.
Jesse's seeing lots of thumbs up, lots of enthusiasm. And Sue, do you want to say something?
Well, yes, I want to say that I think that's a great idea. I mean, because we're trying to keep stuff out of the environment. So if people want to take it home and put it in the living room and look at it, we're saving it from the environment. I think it's a great idea, and making money for the next project is wonderful. I vote yes.
Great.
Lots of nodding heads and thumbs up.
Yeah.
Well said, Sue.
So another call out is for Asha Kepka, who has been our project photographer. She took that great portrait of Michelle and I and Adria with all of the artwork around, and she interrupted her birthday party to come and shoot some excellent photos that we sent into the Globe for the article that most of you have seen. So maybe we should take a look. It's just a small slideshow of some of her beautiful work.
Sure.
Through Zoom, it won't be as vibrant as it will be when we put it on the website, but she's really an Arlington treasure. That's good to know.
Those are such beautiful photos.
But of course, no substitute for seeing it yourself. So I encourage people, while it's still warm, to come out and take a look. And if you're a social media person, share your own photos and hashtag it persistence and stop plastic or ban plastic or whatever you want to put as a message. And if you don't mind tagging the Arts Commission, which is Arts Arlington, we would love it if you would help spread the word about the project to your friends and family. Your family probably already knows. I'm just guessing.
Great. Cecily and Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank you
We
so
can
much,
hang out a
Cecily
little
and Michelle.
longer
I
if
know
there-
you guys were hugely involved from the beginning all the way to now being on the path. So thank you so much for getting all of us involved and bringing us all together. You know, I feel like I had a small part now looking at, you know, just how many people were involved overall, that, you know, simply installing them seems like such a big step. There's so much work and so many people involved. It's really, really cool to see.
Thank you.
Let me ask a question. Johnny, what was your biggest challenge putting them up?
Kind of just getting used to figuring out the best way to do it.
The balance of
like
what needed to be up and what needed to be down.
Yeah, just kind of like getting into the hang of it was the hardest part, I feel like. But it went pretty smoothly, I feel like.
I think so too.
Yeah.
You were amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you had to
Both of
figure
you.
out sometimes a kind of three-dimensional space. Like some of the pieces are anchored in 3 places, and it's like, well, no, we want the other side to show.
Yeah.
And then you had to figure out how to pull it so that it would rotate the right way.
That was also a little difficult as well. But all in all, it was a really good time and a lot of fun, and I am so glad to be a part of it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
both.
And thanks.
All right, well, should we wind up, or does anybody else want to speak up, or?
Excited to hear about the next community art project.
Yeah, we have a few
What are you
things in the
cooking?
works. We'll be in touch again, for sure. And I hope that you're all signed up to get the Arts Arlington newsletter, which is a great communication tool for us. It's kind of difficult when you're doing public art to reach people who see your things outside, and other than standing here and talking to people, which we did quite a bit of.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not signed up, you can go to artsarlington.org and sign up for the newsletter. It comes out once or twice a month, and it's chock full of news.
Oh, I just caught sight of, oh. Joy, do you want to say something? You're
Right,
an
go ahead and
original
unmute.
knitter.
Hi, everyone. I admit I was not a part of this most recent project. I'm not a crocheter. I am a knitter at heart. And I have to say, though, that I lead bike rides for Arlington Community Ed, and one of our bike rides deliberately went past the installation, and I was very proud to talk about it and share what I knew at the time. It hadn't been completely installed yet, but I just remember hearing lots of oohs and ahs from the people riding behind me. And I love that your projects, our projects, make Arlington a destination and not just a throughway. So, you know, there are people who get wind of these projects, and they make a point to bike to Arlington or on the bike path to see the exhibits. And I think it shows the vibrant artistic community that we have here. With the haiku now on the sidewalk, I think that was another brilliant choice to keep art alive even during the pandemic, especially with so many people outside and looking for outdoor activities and destinations to fill their time. If we can continue to be this trendsetter, I think it just keeps art alive, and I don't know. I don't know what else to say except.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
I wish I had been a part of it, but I just wasn't. My brain wasn't ready to learn how to crochet with Plarn.
And since I don't crochet or knit,
yeah,
I'm sure I asked you several times, like, what's the, once you knit, you can't crochet. What's the difference?
Well, that does bring.
I can tell you that many years ago, I found a video on YouTube about how to make Plarn out of a plastic bag, and it's been sort of on the back burner for me. And I was inspired to knit with Plarn, and I made a really cool striped flower pot cover. Because it's weather resistant and prettier than the green plastic that most plants come in. And it was on my deck on the railing, and it was completely inspired by you and your project. So that was
that's really cool.
Figuring out how to knit essentially a Plarn hat or bowl that was then used outside.
That's a pretty great idea, but you remind me that we haven't spoken about the mentors who helped when we were meeting for crochet workshops. It's kind of difficult for one person to teach a room full of people to crochet. So we did have wonderful volunteers who I'm not sure I can call out by name, but they were a magnificent and really important aspect of the project. So thank them.
I wonder, is Karen Grossman here? She might have had to leave. Well, I just wanted to acknowledge her. She's been the president, I think, for a while of the Friends of Spy Pond Park. And she's been very supportive and run information about the project in their newsletter, and feels, somewhat proprietary about this part of the bikeway that, of course, abuts the park. And she made quite a bit of blue Plarn, including during the pandemic. We did some deliveries back and forth, and people picked up quarantined Plarn from her. And Bonnie Payne, who couldn't be with us today because of family obligations, was another person who, through the pandemic, worked with us to make Plarn in COVID-safe ways, like make the Plarn and put it out on the porch for a week, and then someone could pick it up. So many thanks to both of them. I think one thing that was remarkable about this project is that there were so many ways that people could enter it.
I think that's really
so. And also,
go ahead, Michelle.
Also that we really started from scratch. We collected the material, processed the material, created the components, put the structure inside the components, and then assembled everything together. So we started with nothing except community. Uh-oh.
We just lost our video.
Oh, we still see you.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
That's a really beautiful, that's a beautiful idea that we started with nothing but community, and now it's a full installation of 37 pieces on the bikeway that, as Charlotte eloquently said, now many more people will find pathways into.
Excellent.
Yeah. Good. Well, I know.
That sounds like a great
Yes.
note to end, except let me just acknowledge our supporters, our financial supporters. The Massachusetts Cultural Council has supported Pathways Project for 3 years now with their grants, which has been essential. This year, the Friends of the Fox Library stepped up and matched that grant, which was really generous. Since the workshops were happening in the Fox Library, they saw this as very appropriate to their mission, which is to support the library, but also the broader cultural life of the town. And the grants committee of ACAC also has supported it. So a real coming together of those large sources. And then a number of individuals made contributions. And if any of you have purchased chairs at Chairful or made chairs for Chairful, you've also supported this project. And the town of Arlington, of course, has made a real investment in arts and culture in the commission. So multiple sources coming together to make this work possible.
Thank you, Cecily. And thank you, Cecily, for your extraordinary vision and leadership and for convincing Michelle to take this leap in her work. I think we're all, as we've all said, we're all so grateful for the opportunity to be part of it and for how it has manifested in the world and will continue to manifest over the next year. Yay.
All right.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thanks, everyone, for
Wonderful
coming.
Storytelling.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really nice.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.